hit the bullet. Welcome back, John.
Hey.
We're back. Welcome to the second hour.
I just want to say before we go again, like, we usually only record for an hour, and I know this is so important to your family. Again, just want to say thank you for even coming onto the podcast and being able to speak about this. And it's only right that we give y'all 2 hours. It feels like you have way more time. But, I mean, we really want everyone to just understand, you know, why this is important. And we're going to get into his case. But I just wanted to share some facts. I always like to start off each episode with some facts. Earlier in the show, I talked about that there's 350 open homicide cases in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Not in the nation. This is in Bridgeport, Connecticut since 1976. This means that there are 350 people who have not been given the justice that they need for their murders. And then just to add on to that, since 2017, and again, this is the year that your father was wrongfully murdered, there was 179 firearm deaths just in 2017 alone. Gun homicides is the largest amongst Bridgeport, New Haven, and Hartford. And 71% of all homicides are just due to gun violence.
I like Cheyenne as a young woman living in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think is the solution to gun violence?
Mm-hmm.
Like to raise awareness and to get our people in our community to stop killing each other.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think that, I mean, it's not the best solution, but I feel like people have lost the will to really be open about how they feel about another person. I don't know if that makes sense. So I feel like conversations can be had before violence should take place. But I mean, like, I guess I'm coming from like a different era, I guess. I don't know if it's just the millennial in me, but I just feel like if you really don't like me, I would like respect it more if you told me instead of like trying to harm me. Because even if you like feel a type of way about me and you do harm me, how does that help you? How does that make you feel better? Like I feel like violence shouldn't have to resolve whatever hate you have for somebody.
Absolutely.
And what I understand from my dad's case is that he wasn't even per se the target. So for him to be in the crosshairs of somebody else's issues irks me, because it's like, how do you allow an innocent person to be the result of your beef with somebody else? I just think people are too old to be resorting to this type of violence. It's just, it's so unnecessary, especially when people leave behind children, siblings, family, and stuff like that. Do people not think of that? Because what if somebody did that to them? I feel like their family would be just as upset as us.
They have a family. I'm sure they have loved ones too, and their family would be just as hurt as yours would.
So Cheyenne, what would, if you had the opportunity to speak to the people responsible, because you know it's more, besides the shooter, there's other people responsible for your dad's murder, right? And and we're not going to address too much to the public because we don't want to jeopardize the case. But there's more than one person responsible for your dad's murder. What would you want to say? Because they're out there enjoying their life, doing Christmas stuff with their family, Thanksgivings, birthday parties, and things like that. What would you want to address to them? Because I'm sure if they're not watching, I'm sure somebody they know watching.
I would say, like, if you know even the tiniest bit of information, I feel like you are just as responsible as the shooter. That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it because, I mean, think about it this way. If I know somebody's about to rob the bank and I don't say anything, I'm technically an accessory. So it's like, even if I knew what time it was going to occur, I'm still an accessory. So
Absolutely.
for you to know even the tiniest bit of information and just not saying anything, and you're going around living your best life, something is like, I don't know what's going on up here.
Yeah.
But I would feel, I don't know, I'd be sweating, I'd be looking behind me, because guilt is a crazy thing, and it does eat
Karma.
you up, whether or not you know it. It's gonna reach that person, and they need to, I don't know, they need to speed it up, because it's just, it sucks that you're waiting, like you're holding on to this bit of information that could give justice to a wrongful murder. Like, I don't understand.
Do you have any hate towards the shooter?
Hate is such a strong word. I am more so disappointed, if that makes sense. Because I feel like,
absolutely makes sense.
like if you're going to take somebody's life and be a big dog, own up to it.
Woo, preach.
I'm sorry, but it's like,
it's called chill.
If you're just gonna like,
if you consider yourself a gangster, you so much of a tough guy, and you could take somebody's life, own up to it.
Exactly.
That's a real gangster.
Like, that just says a lot about that person, even though there's already negative impressions of them, like, already. But it just makes it worse. Like, if you're gonna go out of your way on top of that to take somebody's life, and now you're scared and you're running, then what was the point of that? Well, like,
exactly.
Right.
Like, what was the point of doing all that? You took somebody's life, but now you're scared. Own up to it.
Yep.
If you had the guts to pull that trigger, have the same guts. Like, I don't even want them to turn themselves in. Like, just snitch on yourself. Like, call like a tip line or something and be like, I know da 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 da. Like, honestly, and then like another thing that bothers me is like the whole snitches thing. Like,
I know, but like, it's definitely a curse that needs to be broken in our community.
Yes,
because what people understand, it's a domino effect that hurts a variety of communities. Cases that are not solved because people don't want to speak up about something that they know.
And it's not about snitching. Like something terrible happened. So like, why are you worried about what other people think about you?
But again, I think that highlights us as a culture. We have always been worried about what people think of us. That's why we dress the way we do. We listen to the music that we listen to. We would rather buy an expensive car before we purchase a home, or have something that's an asset to your family, to leave on for your children. We say we've made so much strides as a Black culture, but we really have not. And I think that our white counterparts will always have the upper hand because they are pretty unified in a lot of things. They have these little ways about them, and they've always had things set up for their children to prosper. And we've been just fighting ourselves and killing ourselves to get to the top that we're never going to reach unless we come together.
First of all, I've been saying for a while now that I had something that I wanted to share with the viewers in the world. I have a big announcement. And Cheyenne, I want to say to you and Milani, I believe she's tuned in, and Kiva, Milani's mom, and I hope everybody, my family members and friends who are tuned in right now, that there is a $10,000 reward leading up to the information, conviction, and arrest to Max's case. I must repeat that again. There's a $10,000 reward towards information and arrest and conviction to Max Antoine's case. So anybody with any information that we can get an arrest and conviction will receive $10,000.
Yeah.
So that's my announcement I wanted to share to the world and the viewers of social media and my family and friends. I've been holding it in for so long. $10,000 towards information and arrest and conviction of Max Antoine's case. Please, if you know anybody out there, we are asking you. Cheyenne, Max's daughter's here. Milani's online. My daughter Kayla, his niece. My mom's online. Everybody's listening. Yes. If you have any information that could lead to an arrest and conviction of Max's case, there's a $10,000 reward going towards anybody with any accurate information. Please. And if you have any information, you can reach out to the Bridgeport Police Department. Detective LeMaine is the lead detective on the case.
We listed it also, the information on the posting. And we also are trying to work towards getting it put onto the Connecticut government site, because they do have a list of other, open cold cases with the information, who you can contact. We want this to become public and more than just, in Stamford, Connecticut. I think it's important that it's everywhere. So who does know something, they're going to feel pressure. It's going to be eaten at them every time they see it, every time they hear about it. I mean, this is really something to take serious. So again, just like everyone said, if you have something, you know something, first of all, it's anonymous. So they're never going to trace it back to you.
So there's a $10,000 reward to the information, arrest, and conviction of Max Antoine's case. So my brother was murdered April 20th of 2017, downtown Bridgeport at McClevey Green, and there's a $10,000 reward. So I wanted to announce that to everybody today. Cheyenne, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Please stay logged on. I'm about to get Kayla on board. I love you, Cheyenne. I love all your efforts. I love your courage for coming on to the show.
Yeah.
We love you. And hashtag 420, hashtag $1 Million Max, hashtag Justice for Max. We're going to keep his legacy on forever. We're going to keep this clothing brand spreading all over the world. Not even just Stanford, all over the world. We're spreading awareness to stop gun violence in our communities, stop killing our black men.
Yes.
Seriously. Cheyenne, I love you.
Thank you,
We're going to get Kayla on. Kayla, Armani, Joseph, get ready to come on.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Cheyenne.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Just get Kayla on board, guys. My viewers, we're about to get Kayla Armani Joseph on board. She's probably going to kill me for saying her middle name. But we're going to find Kayla. Where's Kayla? Kayla, where are you? Well, we got to probably scroll up.
No, you got to click the...
Oh, click the... Hold on. Hold on.
Click the question mark or the... Yeah.
So Kayla, oh, there she is. There you go. There she go. How would you say add?
And I'm going to start the same questions.
Hey!
There she is. Hi.
Hey, guys.
My beautiful daughter.
First off.
AKA.
Yes. Sis.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
So crazy. Hold on.
Yo, you look gorgeous, girl. You look like your daddy and your mommy.
So
I've been
Okay.
waiting.
Oh.
I
That
just
was
want to say
so
thank
good.
you for joining our podcast. Not only joining our podcast, but Kayla has been one of our background people who's just been helping us, to get everything together so that we can make this show what it is. Anytime we need a flyer that needs to be constructed or we need help with just a good caption, you have just been our go-to. So I just want to personally say thank you. And now look at her. Get it right. Get it right. You look good.
You're welcome, guys. You're
You
welcome.
look awesome.
I
So we
just
want
wanted
to
to say,
Yep.
Cheyenne, shout out to you speaking, because that was really brave to do. I know you haven't really spoken since everything has happened, and me just listening on everything, you speaking on things that I never knew about, that just touched me and just motivated me to want to do this, because me myself, I still have yet to really speak about how I felt and how everything has happened after Uncle Max had died. So shout out to you for doing that, because that really motivated me.
Yes.
I need the viewers probably want to see it.
So
Bunga, first of all, I want to say.
he put
Not
out
Bunga.
Listen, she's a grown woman.
I know. Kayla, I'm sorry.
Not Bunga.
I'm about to get out of daddy mode. I got to stay the host mode. But first of all, I want to thank you for coming on the show. This is our 5th episode, and she like Tina addressed, you've been very helpful, helping us out with the marketing and also promotion and stuff like that.
Yep.
And let's definitely get to the questions and talk about Uncle Max and the case, because this is what our viewers tuned in for, and we want to give them some juicy discussions. And let's get to it, baby.
Okay.
So again, describing your own words, who Max Antoine was to you as an uncle.
Okay, so is this even just one word?
However you
He
want.
was powerful. my relationship with Uncle Max, everybody knows, like, he was like literally a second father to me. Like, he meant so much to me. So like, I would just say powerful, because like he really like meant so much to me in my life, like so much to my family. Like, he was literally like, he was just, it's even like hard to, like, me talking about it is really giving me chills, because this is like my first time really doing it. But like,
Yeah.
he was just like so amazing. And like, to our family, everybody in our family, like, you know, we're jokesters, like, we're like, you know how we are, we're all happy and stuff like that. But like, I feel like his presence was something that just like was needed in a room. So like, when I finally got him back after he came from jail, like, I was just so happy to have him. So I would definitely say powerful. Like, he definitely like impacted my life a lot.
And if you can, just share what you feel is your fondest memory with your uncle.
I have a lot. That is so hard. But okay, I could mention one that was like really, really, like, before he died. Like, him, my two cousins, Maya and Diamani, and I forgot who else was there, but we were at my mom's friend Tina's house. And Uncle Mac, this is when he first like got out of jail and everything. So like, we were just spending quality time with him. But we went over to Tina's house, and we all pretty much like spent the day together. Like, we just had so much fun at Tina's house. We literally, Tina cooked for us, but we were like in her living room. We ate on the floor. We all just like shared memories with each other, you know, just laugh, talk. And then after, we went out for ice cream. But like, it sounds like a regular day, but it wasn't a regular day, because of like the moments, like the moments that we spent with each other. Like, it was just different. Like, and me, Diamani, and Maya, we still talk about it to this day. Like, the amount of laughs that we shared that day was crazy. Like, he is just so funny, and everybody knows that. So that day was like literally like the last day I could really remember that. Like, it was just amazing. Like, the vibe was just there. We all were just laughing, sharing memories. Like, it was just amazing. And I'm sure they can attest to that too if they're watching. But yeah, that was like a really good memory.
Yeah, hold on. I remember, I wasn't there, but I remember seeing the picture, and I have the picture in my phone. It was a classic picture. You guys sitting on the stoop eating ice cream, and he was just sitting there. He had the green jacket on, and I'm like, wow, that was like, I wish I was there to share that moment with y'all. But I'm so blessed and found, like, I'm happy that you guys were able to share those memories with Uncle Max, especially with the other girls. You know what I mean? Because Max loved all of you guys like you guys were his daughters.
Like, he didn't just have a relationship with me. He also had a relationship with my cousins too. And I feel like that speaks for itself, because our families are just different. Like, the way our families are just connected is just completely different. Like, Uncle Max was an uncle to my cousins on my mom's side. And that just goes to show you that, like, he was just loved by so many people. And like, you know, so yeah.
I guess Facebook has a question for you.
It's actually for anybody. It's coming from Liz Quinones. She wants to know, have the police kept on top of the investigation? Do you have any information?
My dad has all that information.
So somebody asked me about the case. The police honestly has not been on top of the case the way they should be. I'm like harassing them. I've called them every single day, leaving messages. They don't return my calls anymore. I've even went up to the police department. I went up to the Bridgeport courthouse to talk to the DA. I don't get the answers that I want. And I feel like I've addressed them so many times, asking them, if this was a young Caucasian young kid from Fairfield University walking downtown Bridgeport and was murdered the way my brother was, would this case be solved with the evidence that they do have? And all they keep telling me is, oh, you know, they're looking for a substantial witness who can solve the case, but they can't find out who the witness is. And it's just frustrating because I feel like they're not putting in the efforts. And, you know, they try to sugarcoat me every time I come there. Oh, we got the best lead detective on the case. You know what I mean? And I remember what's so hurtful about the case, everyone, is that I remember 2 weeks after Uncle Max passed away, my brother, we were all at McClevey Green, and the chief of police, Mr. Perez, I'm going to say his name, the chief of police of Bridgeport, Connecticut, addressed my mom, wrapped his arms around my mom in front of the Channel 12 News, in front of the community, said, in 2 weeks after that, there's going to be an arrest made in the case. And now we're 3 years in, and there's haven't been no arrests.
Propaganda is a bitch. Period.
Can I just say something? So,
yes.
Like, although, like, you know, finding justice and getting justice for Uncle Max is important, I feel like we also should like keep in mind that the fact that this happened in Bridgeport, and there are so many different murders that happen in Bridgeport. So like, not saying Uncle Max is not important. There are also so many people who have
There's
lost
so
lives
many
in Bridgeport
families,
that
right?
cases have to get solved. So not saying that his like Uncle Max is not important, but they still have other cases to get solved because
Right.
everybody
And there's
who
been
knows
so many
Bridgeport,
after
they
him.
know that Bridgeport
Yes.
is not like, it's just murders happen.
They're not doing their job.
You have to kind of literally be patient. Like, you literally have to
Yeah.
be patient because this is like an everyday thing. It's like,
Yeah.
there's something always going on in Bridgeport. So it's like, we have to just be patient unless somebody decides to come forward. We really can't do much.
And with every crime that happens, it further pushes back every other crime that has occurred. And I was telling everyone before, there's 350 as of right now, but who's to say what's to happen in the next month or so, especially with the coronavirus happening and people are sitting in quarantine. Nobody's just sitting around and, you know, they're all just in peace. Like, people are angry. Now you have people who have to sit and think about what has happened in their life. And I'm sure for your family, sitting in quarantine, and now, you know, his anniversary coming up, how more are you thinking about his death and what has happened and how angry you are and how hurt you are? I mean, this is a troubling time.
I feel like the fact that my dad has, like, he has been, like, advocating for, like, the case and, like, you know, trying to get justice for, I feel like that at least does something.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're still hearing about it. He's just not another Black man that died in Bridgeport. So it's just like, I feel like it's just something, like, he's, like, at least, like, kind of, like, putting it back in their ear, like, you know, don't forget, like, we still need to get this case off. So I feel like that's some progress. Like, that's something that's good that's being done.
And to touch on the advocating part, I think advocacy is amazing. It takes a lot of work and effort, but can you say that everyone has been supporting you and what you're doing to not only keep your brother's name alive, but just to, you know, work towards solving his case?
I would say yes. I've had some really good support. I want to give a shout out to Congressman Jim Himes.
He comes to my church for service.
He's been supportive.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Connecticut Against Violence organization, Moms Demand Action, who's organization that I've partnered up with in the past, who gave me a lot of support. Just been standing behind me through the candlelight visuals we've done, the rallies we've done. They've stood behind me trying to get answers and also just been supportive. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone who's been supporting the $1 Million Smile brand.
Yeah.
It really, really, it's very, very overwhelming. Like, sometimes I get even emotional when I see people walking around with the T-shirts, the sweaters, the hoodies, the stickers posted up everywhere in every city. You know what I mean? The $1 Million Smile stickers. I think just that alone gives me hope and just keep me strong and makes me aware that, you know, I'm not fighting alone. And I love the support from the people that are supporting us. It doesn't go unnoticed. So I want to just give them a shout out, everybody who's been supporting the cause, the campaign. And also, the campaign is still up with the $1 Million Smile with the logo on the back, Justice for Mac, hashtag 420. So if you haven't purchased your T-shirt yet, please go on to the $1 Million Smile 83 Instagram and support the campaign. But yeah, the support's been good. I just want to say that, you know, I know in due time, like Kayla said, just having patience, and I believe that this case will be solved. I deeply believe that, because with the faith of God and the prayers we've been receiving for our supporters and around not just the city of Stamford, around the world, we've been getting a lot of great support and prayers from people that want to get this case solved. So I believe that we will have this case solved soon. I just don't know when, and I'm very, very patient.
And do you have any questions for your daughter?
Yes, Kayla, my question for you is, after losing your uncle, just like Cheyenne, your cousin, you just about to graduate high school and going right into college. How was that like, trying to grieve, trying to deal with grieving your uncle and also pursuing your career and your education?
I always say to everybody, literally, like you guys said, you didn't have time to grieve. Like, everything just moved so fast. When Uncle Max passed away, I was literally 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks before I was supposed to start my senior internship at high school. And literally, right, like after everything happened, I literally had to go and start a whole internship and be around, you know, people and pretend like everything was okay, knowing I just lost somebody so important in my life. And like even the transition of going to college and everything, still having to put on this smile on my face and to pretend like nothing's wrong when I'm really like still going through like a traumatic experience.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, like, we really don't mention my grandmother, but my grandmother, like, she literally is my world. She's literally my second mother. So me knowing I had to leave my grandmother, knowing how bad like that situation like hurt her, I was worried because I'm like, God forbid something happens to my grandmother because of how sad she is or how heartbroken she is and how like she can't believe she lost her son. I have to go to college and be away from all that. I can't check on her. I can only do calls. And like my grandmother was like just really sad and really going through it. So she really didn't want to pick up the phone and really talk to anybody. So like it was hard for me being all the way in Atlanta knowing I can't really be with my grandmother, support her, because me and my grandma are literally like this. So like it was really hard for me. And knowing my dad like wasn't the same after my uncle died, and like my mom, my sister, like this literally hit more than just like it was bigger than what everybody thinks it is. And like I said, my grandmother really played a huge part because she is old, and it's like there's many things that could trigger her health. Her being too sad, her going to the cemetery as much as she was before I went to school. Like it's just a lot that played part in it. So I was really, really, really worried about my grandmother going to school. So like it was hard for me to focus sometimes, but like I knew I just had to do it. But it was really a hard transition. Like it was not easy at all. I did not have time to grieve at all, and I still haven't. I still feel like I still fully haven't grieved yet.
So my question to you, another question is, how are you able to deal with me, your dad, doing that? I was depressed, I was drinking heavily, and I was in myself. Like how are you able to deal with that?
Like I'm the type of person that whenever I go into a room, like people look for me to entertain and to be like happy and jolly, and like knowing what my family was going through and knowing like I still had to like put on that mask and pretend like everything was fine. Like it was not easy. Like you were drinking a lot, and like me and mommy and Camry would always be like worried, like he's drinking, he's saying things he's not supposed to be saying, he's doing things he's not supposed to be doing. And it's like at the end of the day, you're my father, so what you do, like it reflects back on me, because people are looking at me like, Kayla, your dad's bugging. So like it wasn't a good look when he was like drunk and just doing things to like put his feelings like, you know, behind. So it was hard for me as your daughter, because I'm watching you, you know, go through a deep depression and just like doing things I know you shouldn't be doing. So like I was like literally depressed myself. Like I was going through a lot, seeing my grandmother go through things, seeing you go through things, and just being the person where like I was still just trying to be strong for everybody, because if I go visit my dad and my grandmother and like I'm sad, that could trigger emotion. So it's like I really couldn't just react how I wanted to react. I always had to go into a room and be like, Grandma, everything is gonna be okay. Dad, everything is like, be strong. And like I didn't like allow myself to like, you know, really like go through like what I needed to go through. So like it was hard for me to watch you, you know, go through what you were going through. It was really hard. Like I had to watch you go downhill and pick yourself back up, which I'm like grateful that you did now, but it was hard. It was not easy at all. And I still had to pretend like everything was okay.
I have a question. So, I mean, just to piggyback off of that, how did this disrupt your life and just how you began to view the world? And I asked this for Cheyenne too. You know, did your interaction with your family change, your friends, and just who you felt you could or could not trust anymore?
I've never been the type of person to have a lot of like outside friends. I've always had associates. Like my closest friends were my family. Like, growing up, my cousins were my closest friends. So I never really had to deal with not trusting people, because we all were going through the same thing pretty much at the same time. But I don't know. It's just like, me and my dad, our relationship has gotten stronger. Me and my grandmother, our relationship has always been strong, but it's gotten stronger. So I just feel like this like did a lot, even though it's like traumatic, it did bring a lot of good things out. Like, you know, my dad has changed. Even though my grandmother is still like deeply like going through things, people don't know she goes to the cemetery literally every day.
Every day.
I feel like this has like brought a lot of people together, and like it's been more of like a positive thing in my family. Like with us like connecting and being with each other rather than us separating. I feel like it's been like a good thing for us because we're closer than ever, and I just feel like that's a good thing. You know, sometimes people feel like they want to separate because everybody wants to go through what they're going through alone, but we all, you know, pretty much supported each other. So, yeah.
What's the last thing you remembered about your Uncle Max?
What do you mean? The last thing I remember?
I mean,
my
your last
time
moment
with him,
or just your last interaction.
Honestly, so after school, during high school, I used to go over to my grandmother's house, and the last time I believe I seen, if I'm not mistaken, like my memory shot. I'm telling you, ever since Uncle Max died, my brain is not the same. Like everything was just like a blur. So I think my last interaction with him was me sitting in my grandmother's living room and him going upstairs. After that, I didn't see him because like I started my internship and everything. No, I didn't start my internship. My Uncle Max, he was like pretty much distant before he died, so he really wasn't around as much. But my last interaction of him was like seeing him go upstairs to his room. Like he walked inside, he was like, "What's up, Bunka?" And then he went upstairs. And like we were kind of beefing, like we kind of like, you know, had like a little like attitudes going on with each other, but like it's all love at the end of the day. But we had a little animosity going on between us, but he was just like, "What's up?" And like I was just like, "Hey, Uncle," like that was like my last memory that I can think of, like seeing him.
What was the night like when you received the phone call the night Uncle Max passed away? Like, what could you remember from that night?
That night literally was like crazy. Like I remember laying in the bed. Usually my phone, I sleep with my phone on silent for some reason. My phone was on loud that night. And I remember getting a call from my dad and him pretty much just saying like, he was just like breathing really hard on the phone. And I'm like, "Dad, like what's wrong? Like I can't hear you." And he's like, "Uncle Max got shot." And I'm just like, I didn't think Uncle Max was dead, but I'm just like, something bad happened. So I remember running to my mom's room and I'm like, "Mom, like get up, like Uncle Max got shot." And my mom was just like scared. So like me and her rushed over to my grandmother's house. And my entire time on my way to my grandmother's house, I'm just thinking about my grandmother because anybody that knows my grandmother knows how much she loves my uncle. Like she literally loves him. So I'm just like, I pray he's okay, and I'm praying my grandmother is okay because I know how much she just like loves him. So we get over there and we tell her, and she's just like, she's yelling, you know, she's scared, and it's just so much going on. But we ended up getting in the car. I got in the car with my grandmother, her sister, and one of their friends. And everyone in the car is speaking Creole, and I don't understand it. So I'm in the car with them scared, and we're on our way to Bridgeport. Mind you, we're getting lost in the streets because people were sending us wrong directions, and they didn't really know the streets of Bridgeport like that. So we're just driving around anywhere. So, and I'm honestly, I can sound like a punk. I'm scared of Bridgeport. Like I don't really go to Bridgeport like that. So it's late night. We're driving around in the streets. I'm with 3 people in the car who barely speak English, and it's like I'm confused, like what's going on. So they pretty much told us that he was at the hospital. We got to the hospital. He wasn't at the hospital. So then we finally got a call and they told us to come to where the scene was. But we didn't know Uncle Max died at that time. We're just thinking, you know, in my head, I'm thinking he's in the back of the ambulance, you know, that he's just not hurt. Because they're telling us to come to the scene. So I'm like, if he's not at the hospital, he must be fine. I'm not thinking death at this time. So we get there, and I just remember, like, seeing people crying, and I'm like, what? Like, my eyes, I'm just like, what is going on? So as soon as we get out the car, I just look at my aunt's friend, and I'm just like, where is he? That's all I said to her. I'm just like, where is he? And she was just like, he's gone. So, like, hearing that, I literally was just like, I just remember, like, my brain going blank. Like, I didn't know what to do because I'm just like, I've never had with anybody in my family dying, especially somebody so close to me. So, like, just hearing, like, her say, like, he's gone, just, like, it just did it for me. And I immediately just, like, blanked out. I don't even remember what I did after that because it was just crazy. And I just remember seeing my aunt because I guess my mom called my aunt to come make sure I was okay because at the time my mom knew that my uncle was dead, but I didn't. So she just wanted to make sure I was good when I found out But I just remember my grandmother being in shock, and just like my dad, like it was just crazy. Everybody was crying, and just like it was just such like a bad time. And I remember just like I'm just confused, like how did this happen? And just like I'm just worried about my grandmother, because like I said, like my grandmother loves my uncle so much, and just like knowing, like I'm just worried, like is my grandmother ever gonna be okay again? Is my dad ever gonna be okay again? Like I just thought like my world, like my life just came to an end, because like I said, I never experienced somebody close in my family dying, so I didn't know how to deal with this. So I remember my mom and my sister was away at school. So after we left the crime scene, we had to go get my sister from school, because we didn't want her to be alone at school by herself, knowing my uncle's literally like, my sister loves my uncle too, like literally like somebody like a second father to her too. So we get back to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother is just in shock. She's screaming, she's crying. Like that night was just crazy. Like I can never forget about it. It was literally crazy. Like, and I hate talking about it, but it's literally crazy. It was like one of the worst things ever.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to step away for a little bit.
Sorry.
Just feeling emotional. It just brings back a lot of emotion, and just to see my daughter break down, to talk about her uncle, and this is where we were talking about in hour one with Cheyenne, his daughter, is that I want everyone who has information or knows information about the case and the people who are responsible for Max's murder, just to understand the impact it has on our family, the impact it has on his friends, his community. What you guys have done, you guys took away a person who was deeply loved by his family and his children, deeply loved by his community. Obviously, you know that, and was taken away the way his life was taken away disgustingly for no apparent reason, and it was something that could have been avoided. You know what I mean? Whatever the reason was, it could have been avoided, and it wasn't worth pulling the trigger, taking his life on April 20th, 2017. And I want y'all to understand, like, the pain, like, put yourself in our shoes. I'm asking you, if anybody's watching this that knows the killer, that knows people who were responsible for my brother's murder, I'm asking you, I'm reaching out and telling you guys to close your eyes and imagine losing your close best friend. Imagine losing your uncle. Imagine losing your brother. Imagine losing your son. Imagine losing someone deeply close to you and never seeing them again. They can't go to your birthday parties, your graduations. They can't attend anything anymore. You got to put them 6 feet under. And just because of a decision you decided to make, because you wanted to prove to yourself, to think that you're so tough, or to prove to anybody else that you have any type of hatred because of something so idiot that could have been prevented, but you decided want to take it in the matters of your hand to take somebody's life. So I want you to take that in and understand how hurtful it is. So if you are somebody out there who really knows any information and you're holding on to that, you should feel like an idiot. And if you're the person that pulled the trigger and you are sitting home with your family knowing that you're responsible for my brother's murder, you have to be evil. You have to be the devil to be sitting back, living your life, knowing that you took somebody else's life. And that's what I have to say.
I don't want us to like be angry, or to, like for us to even like call people names, because it's like that's only like us being angry is only gonna like hurt us in the end. That's not gonna like make us feel any better. Like calling, so like Dad, let's like not use the word idiot, because it's like, you don't know, they could have asked God for forgiveness, you know. You never know like what they're doing. They're probably dealing with things. You don't know what like triggered them to do what they did. Like, yes, we lost Uncle Max, but at the end of the day, it's like, just leave it to God. We can't look to men, like men to do stuff. Like, they can't do anything for us. We can only pray to God and hope that they go to people and they turn themselves in and do stuff. We cannot say to them, you're an idiot, you need to do this, you need to do that, because at the end of the day, it's going to take for them to get up and do something, or for somebody to move forward. We can't call names, we can't be angry, we can't do anything, because that's not going to solve anything. So I don't want to say like I hate anybody or like I'm mad. I just like, I just want people to understand, like, you know, like you really did hurt a family, and there's people out here suffering. Like my grandmother will never be the same ever again. And you guys just need to understand that, like, you made a mistake and you need to own up to it. That's just what it is. There's nothing more to be said. You made a mistake and you need to own up to it. And the longer people hold information, you're making it okay for something else to happen to somebody else's family. And that's what people need to understand. Because God forbid that same person that did that, they go and do something to somebody else. Now that's another family member lost out of somebody's family. That's the way people need to think about it. Like, you wouldn't want anything like that to happen in your family. So just do the right thing and turn yourself in, or change your life around. I don't know.
I honestly understand what you're saying. Like, I think on my standpoint, the anger part, I'm just more passionate behind what I'm speaking. And I honestly, I've said this a while back, and I said I forgive the person that did it, because I know that they didn't honestly wanted to kill my brother. But I just, you know, I'm at a point in my life where spiritually I'm good with God right now. You know what I mean? And he's the reason why I'm still standing, and I have my strength, and I'm able to do what I'm doing now and use my platform to be a voice for my community, and also keep Mac's name alive and doing what I'm doing. Is because of God. But in the meantime, like I said, I'm just passionate, Kayla, and I just want them to know.
I understand that. That's your brother at the end of the day. I definitely understand that.
And you know what I mean? I just want the viewers and the public to know, and the people who do know anything about my brother's case, that the pain that we're suffering, you know what I mean? Because, you know, even after Uncle Max dying, I've been an advocate for other family members who dealt with the same tragedy. I just been there for a lot of family members and advocating for them for justice, and also helping them raise money for funerals, because I know what it takes. I know how hard it is for other family members to deal with this type of situation. And I'm just fortunate that, you know, I'm able to use my platform to advocate for other family members dealing with the same tragedy. And it's not an easy journey, you know what I mean? To see, you know, siblings and also parents and the community mourn the death of men and women losing their lives through gun violence. It's just not a good look. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel good.
Not even to cut you off or anything. Like, I have a question for you. Being that grandma's never like come up here and like share her story and how you feel. You're with her 95% of the time. Like, you see how she reacted and like how she's feeling to this day. Like, what can you say to the people watching, or even if, God forbid, like the people who did do it are watching? Like, how can you tell? Like, what can you say on behalf of grandma? Like, what can you say, being that she can never come up here and share her side of the story? Like, what can you say?
Being the fact that my mom can't advocate for herself, and I can share about what my mom is dealing with. I'm with my mother, like my daughter said, 80-90% of the time I see my mom every single day, and every time I see my mom's face, I just see the pain and the suffering she's dealing with. It kind of breaks me emotionally. I get emotional sometimes to see her cry. I literally cry like a baby, and I can't, as an older sibling and a son, and I can't do nothing about it. Only thing I can probably do vocally is just tell her it's going to be okay, and it's not going to be okay. You know what I mean? And that's what hurts, and that's what I want people to understand, that to see my mother in pain every single day, crying, begging God for justice, begging God to take her life, to be with her son, to see her every day, spending time at the cemetery 3 times a day, making sure that my brother's gravesite is clean, no matter what the weather condition is, snow, rain, tornado, I don't care what it is. She's gonna make her way to the cemetery every day to spend her time with her son. And that's what's heartbreaking, because as a leader of my family, and as the oldest son, and as a backbone of my family, there's nothing I really could do to make her happy. There's nothing I can do to bring sunshine back to what she was feeling before Max passed away. And then the fact that she had to deal with not just losing my brother, losing Kaimani, my nephew, her grandson, who looked like my brother, losing him last year, August of 2019, 26, to a car crash. it's just devastating for our family. And to see grandma in a hurtful situation every single day, got to experience the pain in her face and her heart. I don't know. You know, it's heartbreaking. You know, because we're never going to have grandma the same. Your grandmother's never going to be the same again. She's never been. And it's even worse now because she lost her grandson, her only grandson. Like, you know, like that Max had. That was Max's only son, Kamani Antoine. You know, he's never going to come back. The only thing that I say that he's definitely with his dad, because I know when he was alive, he was suffering either. He was suffering really, really bad, not having his dad around. You know what I mean? But and it's up to us. It's up to you, Cheyenne, Serge, Olivia, Milani, you know, Camry, and the rest of the family, and myself, and everybody else who loved Uncle Max, to keep his legacy alive, and also, you know, to remain positive and to keep our faith up, knowing that we will get justice one day, and also, you know, keep sharing his memories through these platforms, the podcast,
Right.
Our rallies, events that we do in honor of his name. And also we're going to keep his son name alive, Kamani. We're going to do events and things like that in honor of his name also. So, you know, that's all we can do, is keep moving forward and stay positive, and keep believing in God, and use our platforms to create great events and in honor of their names.
Definitely.
Yeah, so, you know, once again, you know, I don't know if you were tuned in, but I want to address again that there is a $10,000 reward leading up for information and arrest and conviction to Max's case. $10,000 we're giving away for the information and arrest and conviction of Max's case. So anyone out there that's listening, there is a $10,000 reward. And if you have any information, the lead detective on the case is Detective LeMaine of Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's handling my brother Max's case. So if you have any information, contact the Bridgeport Police Department and ask for Detective LeMaine. That's on the case.
Come here.
Who wants to chime in with you? Who wants to tell Camry or anybody else, or your mom? Anybody who want to come into the show?
Hold on, let me see if I can turn the light on.
Hey Tiff.
Hi.
Everybody out there, this is Kayla's mother. That's the daughter of my child.
The mother of your
The
child.
mother of my child. I mean, the mother of my child.
Not the daughter.
She was also close to my brother Max. They were very close. Knew Max for over 20 years. I don't know if you want to share any great memories about Max, because we have like 12 minutes left.
Wow. There's so many good memories. But I think for me, one time you and I had got into this major argument, and I cried so bad. Max had to be like 14, 15. And he sat me down. He said, you know what? My brother is so stupid because you are the most beautiful woman in the world. And from there on, whenever you talk junk to me, I always remember what Max would say. So that's one of my greatest moments.
Wow. Max definitely had his way to making people feel better if you were down. And like Cheyenne addressed earlier, her dad really didn't have too many negative things to say about people. He was always trying to repair and fix things.
He made sure.
He was the life of the party, man.
Always.
Yeah. He was a jokester in the life of the party, and he always showed up with this $1 million smile. You walk in that room, and I don't care if you was in a bad mood, he would make you. He'll change that mood for you. I tell you that.
He definitely
Exactly.
I miss
He
him
was the life
so
of the
much.
party, man. It's just fortunate that his life was taken short at 33 years old. But I know I'm comfortable and satisfied. I know he's with God in heaven, and he's with his son now that, you know, he received his son in heaven with him, Kamani. And while we're here as soldiers on this earth, we're going to continue to keep his legacy alive and his name, and continue to keep Kamani alive, his name, and honor them every single time we do anything. And, you know, we're going to keep praying to God and hoping that we receive justice soon. to get this case resolved. You know, we pray every single day.
And I want you to remember this, and I always tell you this. As much as you want justice, don't rush this. We don't have time for mishaps. We want them to do their job, and we want them to dot every I, cross every T. We don't want to leave anything, any stone left unturned. Because the minute they rush and they do things just to get an answer, doesn't necessarily mean it's the right answer. And no answer is going to make you feel better. And I understand you want justice, but it's hard to believe in the system right now. It's hard to believe in anything right now. But you got to use your faith and trust that when God gives us the answer, he's going to give it to us in the right time, and he's going to give us what we need. So,
absolutely.
Like I heard Kayla say earlier, for those who are a part of this, I pray that, you go to him and you ask for forgiveness, and may he please lighten your heart so that you can go out there and, do the right thing, because that's what it's about all the time. Like Kayla said, we never know what people are going through, and, it's all about forgiving. We all are forgiven. Let's just continue to love on each other. Max would want that because he was all about love. This world right now needs nothing but love. And I know it's just about Max, but I just want to say, love people while you can. Don't wait till you're to love on them or to just let them know what they mean to you, because none of us are promised tomorrow. So I just want to leave everybody with that. Everybody be blessed. Just stay safe.
Thank you.
Sanitize. Max, we love you. Sean, I love you. Pop, you guys, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiff. I appreciate you sharing great memories about Max. We have like 8 minutes left. We're gonna try to see if we can cut it before 8 o'clock so we can save this episode, because Instagram works funny. But before we close out, I just want to just say I'm really grateful and blessed to have a great host as Tina, and I'm also blessed to have this platform to be able to talk about different topics every single week of our episodes. Today was definitely emotional and impactful. We discussed a lot of important information to the public, and I want to thank you and Cheyenne for having the courage and the faith to come on our show to address these issues and to talk about talk about how great Max was and how it impacts your life. It really means a lot, and I'm sure the people who are viewing our podcast are really appreciative of you guys coming on here, and I appreciate our viewers for taking the time out, their day, for spending 2 hours with us.
So just listen or send a like or a repost.
And we love all the hearts, by the way. You guys share. Thank you so much. We see all the great hearts.
And I just wanted to share, before we even started this podcast, like we talked about wanting to have a podcast, but every week that we go on here and we do share these topics with our viewers, it really helps us to grow. I know for me, it helps me to grow as a person, and just really being brave enough to be vulnerable. I mean, this is really hard to do for all of us. And I think we are really trying our best to just show the world that it's okay to show that more sensitive side of you, because we all need to be reminded that we are just human at the end of the day. And just like Tiffany said, like, we all just really need to be loved. And I think if we can get back to a culture where love is like the main language, maybe we can change something in the world. I mean, I'm just one person, we're just one person, but if we don't try, nobody else is gonna try. So I think you for even allowing us to have this platform, and to like our background crew, Don, who's been helping us today. I mean, every week we really try our best to just deliver you guys the best work. And so please keep supporting us, please subscribe. We're putting all our videos up on YouTube now so that you can go back and listen to them. Keep sending in topic ideas, because this is just the beginning. Like,
the only way we can grow is through our supporters.
Through our supporters and learning.
So
listening.
We're learning every single week, every single day. We're reading over things to build up our craft. So this is something we just started. We woke up one day and said, "Yo, let's just start a podcast." Especially during the quarantine time, where everybody has the attention span to sit at home and be on your phones. And from now on, we're growing each and every single week and every single day. So we appreciate you guys taking the time out, supporting us. Spread the message to your friends, your colleagues, and let them know to follow us on the Go Podcast. Log on to us every single Sunday at 6 p.m. We about to head out.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys. Love you, Kayla, my daughter.
Yes,
You're a wonderful
I love you guys.
young
Love
lady.
you.
You're beautiful. You're inspiring a lot of young women out there. Keep empowering women.
Thank
Tina,
you,
you too.
Dad.
Dawn, you in the background. Thank you so much, Dawn. And everybody else, we love you. We got to go.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.
On
Thank
the
you.
podcast. Peace. There it is. So once there we go.
Sue's not gonna save the other